Hey y'all, today on the farm we have a beautiful cloudless South Georgia sky and a strong 11-mile-per-hour crosswind, which means this is an optimal peanut picking day. A short distance. When we start each day, we travel just a little ways and stop and get out and look at check our set and see what the was looking like coming out the back of the picker. What I don't want to see is clumps of vines. I don't want to see peanuts still hooked to the vine that are good. That's a pop. That's excellent. I want the pops to blow out the back. A pop is an empty peanut hull. This one actually has a nut in it. That's not a pop. So this one got blown out the back. I may need to adjust my cleaning air. That's a good one. There's some right here on the vine. Overall, it looks pretty good. You see where I ran yesterday, I was throwing clumps out. And that's because it was wet yesterday. They wouldn't pick. Today it's a little bit drier. We got a wind blowing, as I'm sure y'all can hear. And wind and peanut harvesting go hand in hand. You need wind out here to harvest peanuts. I got a pretty aggressive setting. I'm fully engaged up top. I'm engaged in the middle. I'm disengaged up front. I'm gonna try that a little bit further. If I see any more peanuts coming out the back though, I'll engage my bottom one. But hopefully I'll just run this setting about another hour and I'll pull this middle one out, get less aggressive. If you get too aggressive, it'll shell the peanuts, it'll break them up. And I'll be throwing broke up peanuts in the basket. We don't want broke peanuts. That's going to lower my grade. The first peanut harvest video I made of this year, conditions have changed. I've gotten behind schedule because of a rain, which means these peanuts have been on the ground for longer than normal. So the vines and the nuts themselves have dried down further. And what that means, I've had to make some adjustments. I've lowered my fan cleaning speed, so I'm putting less cleaning air in the picker. If I run the speed I was running, the fan at the same power, it will blow good peanuts out the back. And so I've had to cut down my cleaning air. But I've also picked up another gear in the transmission of the tractor. I was running 0.9 miles per hour because I was bringing in so much moist vines, so the material was still greener. And but now everything is so dry, I'm ready to grab the next gear, and I'm running currently 1.4 miles an hour, which doesn't sound like a big change, but when you go from 0.9 to 1.4, that's significantly faster. So I'm covering a lot more ground in the course of the day. I'm constantly adjusting the height of that head back there. If the head gets too high, you'll see the peanuts start to roll like a tumbleweed. You'll see them start to pick up and roll over a little bit. That's not good, like that right there. So I run it a little lower. It picks them up better. If you run it too low, the teeth impact the ground and they'll break. And then there's no teeth there to pick the peanuts up. So you're constantly picking it up and down. This is an example of a broke tooth. I had this back there a while ago. I saw one of my ribs was poked up a little higher than the other ones. It's because that broke tooth was wrapped around another tooth in there that wasn't broke, and it was impacting the rib and pushed the rib up. So you're constantly picking the head up and down to adjust for whatever the condition may be at that particular spot in the field. But also, while I'm watching that head and doing that, I'm also driving, looking forward. So I'm constantly turning my head back and forth, because this is not an auto steer tractor. You don't have a lot of leeway. If you see here, I'm right next to those peanuts. If that tire runs over those peanuts, it will crack them open and break them. And more than likely, if they're broke open right here on the front end, they're gonna get blowed out the back of the picker. If they get blowed up into the basket, which is unlikely, that'll hurt my grade, having a bunch of shells and open peanuts in there. We don't want that. I want all the peanuts in the basket to be in the hull, in the shell. The multiple days of cloud cover has put me in a pretty tight spot. The peanuts are really dry because they've been on the ground for a long time now. However, the vines are not dry because the humidity in the air is raising the humidity in the vines. And so a vine that has moisture in it is tough. It goes in this machine and wraps around stuff and don't come out the back, stops the machine up. However, the peanuts that are hyper dry, they've been on top of the ground for over a week now, they get bust open when they go inside the machine. So it's really a trick. You want the setting less aggressive so it won't bust the peanuts open, but also you need to set it more aggressive because the vines aren't brittle. So you're caught between two brick walls with nowhere to go. I don't know if y'all can see it, but there's a little bit of a little light mist and rain on the windshield. That is exactly the last thing we need right now. That's the worst thing we need is rain. We really need about 4 or 5 days with no clouds whatsoever. Here we go. There goes a load of peanuts. But it's raining now. Dad's got a load of peanuts. He just pulled one of the loads out of the field in the rain. He's heading to the field, and it's not stopping up yet. So I'm gonna try my best to make it to the end of the road. It's been about an hour since the mist. Still not optimal condition, but we gotta chip away at it. So as long as the picker is not physically stopped up, as long as it's not broken, I'm just gonna go. We're gonna go with it. We gotta get it done. Harvest can't wait. ever seen somebody pick peanuts in the rain before? Now you have. This is actually the second time I've done this. We did it pre-hurricane. We had a hurricane coming in one time. We had nuts on the ground, and we picked in the flood, which is, I don't recommend to anyone ever. But Lord have mercy. Because those first two light rains, heavy mist, light rains, that's why I stopped, blew the picker off. But then it didn't rain for about an hour, 45 minutes an hour, so I got back out here, and now it's like legit rain. So oh well, dump these nuts out of the basket and blow the picker off again, and that's gonna be a wrap for today's attempt at harvesting. Well, the fine mist has settled in, and it is no longer picking conditions. You can't pick peanuts in this. So we're done for the day. But that brings up a little bit of good news. I have a little bit of opportunity now to finish working on todayonthefarm.com. The website will be up and running before the end of this month. I've had help from several friends, and we are super close. It may be up within the week. I don't know. It's 99% done. And we'll be selling grits ground from my corn, my non-GMO corn, never sprayed with glyphosate, cornmeal from my corn, and t-shirts, and hopefully here within the next month, pecans, and maybe a few of these peanuts. I've been roasting some of these peanuts and working on several different recipes for hot nuts and cinnamon sugar nuts and different things. So coming soon, y'all check it out, todayonthefarm.com.